Maybe should best start with Kyogo.
Yeah, potentially. It's far from done and dusted. In fact, listen, Kyogo at the moment, as it stands, Celtic would love to have him back. Birmingham don't particularly want him. And the question now is, does Kyogo want to come back? So I'm led to believe that the ball is now in Kyogo's court. Listen, there are some financial issues that still have to be overcome as well. He's on big money at Birmingham, by the way. He's on, much more than he's on at Celtic, that's for sure. I think you're talking about 35, 40 grand a week.
Wow.
It shows you what Birmingham are paying right now. The Tom Brady kind of revolution.
What's that, Mick? Probably about twice as much as he was earning at Celtic.
I think, yeah, not far off it. Not far off that, yeah. So, listen, I don't think that's going to be that big a hurdle because Celtic are now in desperation stakes, need a striker, and I think if it comes to even paying the full whack for 6 months, I don't think that's a problem. The problem, I think, is Kyogo himself. I'm led to believe that as of last night, people I know who spoke to people who were around it last night, suggested that Celtic were not particularly hopeful that Kyogo wanted to come back to Glasgow. What I do think, though, is that today, I think things maybe have moved on slightly. I think Celtic are saying, we would like to have you back. I think Kyogo would maybe be thinking, I'll maybe wait to the window how it unfolds and see what my options are. Celtic can't afford to wait to the last week of the window. I mean, these loan deals that happen in the final days of the window when the options are explored. Yeah. Celtic can't wait that long. So I think Celtic are saying, right, we want you back. We'll obviously know what you're about. Get a chance to kickstart your career in front of our fans who adore you. But this answer's got to happen in the next 24, 48 hours or so. They need to know.
They want him for the Dundee United game, don't they, Mick?
Well, listen, he needs to be in on January the 1st. We're now January the 8th. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's a case of, it's almost like, we need to do this, we need to do it now. And it's now, the ball is firmly in Kyogo's court. As it stands, I'm aware, as far as I'm aware, it's in his court. So he might, now given push coming to shove, he might say, you know what, okay, I want to go back there and kickstart my career. If he says he wants to sit and wait tight for another few weeks, that might not work. However, Celtic could easily say, right, we'll go and get one of our other targets on the big list of, seems to look a bit blank at the moment. And then
that's calling some bluff, isn't it?
Well, it'd be going all in a pair of twos, I think it's known. So
go and try and re-sign Larson or something.
But listen, if Celtic get their ducks in order and get a striker in now, even if it's not Kyogo, I mean, you get a chance to get him in late in the window. Celtic need two strikers, not one striker, need two strikers.
Yeah.
So Kyogo would be a live one beyond, even if it is suggested. But what I mean is Celtic need to move on to top targets quickly. So this has to be a kind of a move that's done relatively speedily. So it's all about Kyogo. If he wants to come back, then I think it can happen. If he's not that keen, it might not. Then again, it could be someone visited if the numbers add up late on the window. So listen, he's had a bit of a stinker year. Let's be honest. I mean, he scored one goal this in the calendar year, or since he left Celtic last January. Had a nightmare at Rennes. Barely kicked a ball. Goes to Birmingham for another big fee, 10 million again, 10 million moves in a year. He only scored one goal. Was it in the League Cup? I think against Sheffield United. League Cup. Right, not scored in the Championship. Missed a ton of chances. So he's kind of going. I'm not saying they're going nowhere fast, but it's kind of looking that way. I mean, where does he go next? He's not going to English Premier League. He's not going to English Championship. So does he go back to Japan or abroad? Maybe. He's got a World Cup in the summer. He's got to think about. I know that looks. I mean, it looks like
that ship's probably sailed, Mick, because the whole idea of him going to France in the first place was to try and beef up his chances, wasn't it?
He didn't get much of a look at him as at Celtic when he was in banging form. So I must admit, I mean, I've got to be honest, not to be harsh, but there's probably more chance of me going to the World Cup with Japan. But again, that might be in the back of his head as well. But getting back playing on a weekly basis, that's his contracts at Birmingham until 2028. I mean, so there's a lot of money on the table as well. So I think that it's a live issue. I think there's some top of date, some more encouragement from that side of things. But there's a few hurdles that need to be cleared. But
how do you think, Mike, the Celtic fans will react to this? Because on the one hand, if you get the Kyogo back that was there when he was really motivated and was firing on all cylinders, what a striker, what a player he was for Celtic. If you get the Kyogo towards the end of his stint at Celtic when he really wanted away and, the body language wasn't great. Then has a poor year, as you've just said.
Yeah.
But also it feeds into this narrative about Celtic are stuck just now. They're not advancing. They're not opening borders. They're not moving in a forward direction. It's just every time something goes wrong, well, let's go and get him because he did a job previously. Ange Postecoglou leaves. Let's go and bring back Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers, let's get rid of him. Okay, let's bring back Martin O'Neill. Right, Martin O'Neill, thanks for the interim. In comes Wilfred Nonsey, bin him off, bring back Martin. In the meantime, we need a left back, Kieran Tierney. Let's go and get him. I think the whole thing feels a bit broken. Where is Celtic's forward progression here? It's all stuck. They feel stuck. It's almost like in a time loop.
Malfunction, I think, would be the word I would use. Listen, I think two things are operating at the same time here. Is Kyogo a proven goal scorer in Scotland and for Celtic? Yes. Would he be a slightly less risky signing than some because of that? Probably yes. So there is that. That is true. But it's also true that this kind of signing is a working example of a recruitment department that is failing. If you spend 12 months plus the 6 months we knew he was going to leave to get a striker, and it takes you all the way back to the guy who left 12 months ago, you're basically putting your hands up and saying this recruitment department is failing and badly. And this is going back. You can go back to last January when Celtic were in for various kind of wide men, end up re-signing Kyogo, who hadn't played for kind of a year and wasn't fit. It was going to take 3 or 4 months to get fit and got injured when he was trying to get fit. Another signing, like you say, going back to a player who, I'm not saying picked like bang the door asking to come back, but not far off it. And then they go and get one off Brendan Rodgers' Rolodex. They need a left back to cover Greg Taylor. Goes and get Jeffrey Schlupp, 33-year-old Jeffrey Schlupp, who had one good game, which happened to be against Bayern Munich with a cracker out there. The rest of the time he was pretty hopeless. Again, so where's the recruitment department in last January? Nowhere to be seen. And you go into summer, listen, it's been over the summer, complete shambles. But you get to January, the January 1 opens up, they get a loan signing from Bournemouth, which need a right back competition, but the guy who's available for a loan deal, fair enough. But the striker was their priority. And I said that all night. At 1 minute past midnight, there's been a guy standing at Celtic Park in the dark with a scarf above his head.
Absolutely.
And it's not happened because the recruitment department has failed for a prolonged period of time. So you can point to
Tisdale's been chopped, so he's paid the ultimate price, and they are where they are right now, and it is a needs must situation, isn't it? So this is an urgent.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that is a key. That is true. The recruitment department has pretty much collapsed in the last 12 months. Tisdale has to carry the can, and he's gone. Right, so that's fine. So that means that they're now left scrambling, dealing with agents, dealing with their contacts, and dealing with players who played at the club before, and trying to get through the next 6 months to somehow restructure and find a way to get the club going in some sort of direction again. Finding a director of sport or director of football to get the place organised. Finding a manager in the summer. All these things can wait, I suppose, or they have to go in the background. But in the meantime, it's get a striker, get players in the door, give Martin O'Neill a chance to get back in the title race. So I understand why the Kyogo phone call happens, because listen, I'd love to be a fly in the wall at the meeting that had Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney and a few of the kind of support staff at Lennoxtown. Said, right, show me the extensive list I've got. Tell me where we are here, where are we in terms of negotiations? What button do I need to hit to hit the yes to these guys? And they go, well, I mean, Kyogo might be available from Birmingham. He's not scored in 12 months. Great stuff, guys. Let's come back next week, reconvene next week, see where we are. I mean, that's
any chance of slapping in a bid for Adam Eder?
Aye, have a blueberry muffin. Here we go. It's not a great look, is it, really, for Celtic right now? But it's symptomatic of a club that's kind of lost its way a wee bit in terms of a lot of things.
You mentioned, Keith, the reaction from Celtic fans, and we've got plenty of reactions coming in now in the comments.
I bet it's a mixed bag, Dan.
It's very mixed. There's some Celtic fans who are buzzing at the thought of Kyogo come back, but there's some who, it seems weird that they're not that keen on replacing Kyogo with Kyogo, Tierney with Tierney, Jota with Jota, and Martin O'Neill with Martin O'Neill.
I forgot Jota. Yeah.
Jota as well. Let me read out a few of these. Craigie says, Kyogo, 20 goals, last 18 games of Celtic, will win the league by 8 points. Sean says, I take Kyogo and Bowie, would consider that a good window for strikers. But Ross says, that really sums up the Celtic board, replacing Kyogo with Kyogo. Absolutely no chance I want him back. Davey says he'd give us 15 goals. We need him, but still rather have another backup. Givaldo points out he scored 2 goals since he left. Paul says, so after a year of waiting on a striker, Kyogo's replacement is Kyogo. That would just sum up this board's inability to look forward. It's completely unfit for purpose. And Dennis says, are Celtic going back in time? O'Neill twice, Jota, Tierney and Kyogo. To go back long enough, they might even win a European trophy. And just finally, Green for goal. Why, oh why do we keep going back for old players? Kenny has scored more than Kyogo. It's lazy scouting and desperate. So I think definitely mixed is the right way to put it.